Gonzalez and Heidi Harrington. Is Miss Zoe Charlton, escorted tonight by Steve Charlton and Vanessa Charlton. And our next senior cheerleader is Laisha Herrero, escorted by Christian Herrero and Lupe Herrero. Next up, Rosanna Vizcarra. She's being escorted by Cesar Vizcarra and Norma Vizcarra. And our final senior cheerleader for tonight is Miss Jasmine Wilson. Jasmine is being escorted tonight by Timothy Wilson and Michelle Lopez. Ladies and gentlemen, a quick hand for our senior cheerleaders. Next up, Mr. Travis Shields. Travis is being escorted by Tori Shields and Christina Shields. Giovanni Escalante is being escorted tonight by James Escalante and Adriana Escalante. Alejandro Miranda is being escorted tonight by Alejandro Christian Miranda and Carla Miranda.
Shimamoto Simpson Field. Will Torres with Ron Rubio. We are VSN. Welcome to a Friday night Imperial Valley High School football game, special edition Thursday night. With me, as always, is from day one, my partner, the guy that's got it, the guy that's 30 years experience explaining the game to you. We hope you enjoy the game. And Ron, what are we expecting tonight?
Well, we're expecting tonight to see if Imperial can rebound after last week's tough loss to the Brawley Wildcats last week. And we're going to see if Central could keep their momentum rolling. They're running on 2 shutouts, scoring over 30 points in the last 2 ball games. Let's see what this ball game ends up like.
Ron, we had the pleasure of doing the game last week. I had a chance to talk to Coach Rookie Pena and also Coach David Shaw. One of the things that David Shaw mentioned to me was, Will, I focused on all the positive stuff. Look, Will, no kid wants to go out there and drop a ball. No kid wants to drop give up a fumble. None of that. He focused on all the good things, and once he saw the film, he realized that he actually had a good game. Now, he didn't win that game, but there were some positives on that. Ron, what do you think? Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after a national anthem. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Dennis Gibb with a beautiful edition of Star Spangled Banner. I'm sure Mr. Jim Spence is going to be very proud of his classmate there, and both Wildcat, both teachers down here in Imperial. So, Ron, let me get back to the question here. What did you see some of the positive signs coming out of the Imperial Tigers last week versus the Brawley Wildcats?
One of the positive signs on the offensive side, they have a good running game. They showed that 2 weeks in a row against Hopeville. Brennan Adams, man, he's spearheading that run game. Kid, I'm pretty sure he had over 100 yards both the last 2 weeks running. So that's a very, very positive note. Why? Because when you can run the ball, you keep the ball out of the other team's hands. And that's what you have to do against a team like El Centro. Keep the ball out of their hands and run some time off the clock. So that was very positive.
That was true that, Ron. One of the other things, when we look at Central side of the field there, Ron, one of the things that we noticed about El Centro, they had Vincent Memorial. We had the pleasure of doing that game via live stream VSN. And even though after a scoreless first quarter, 0-0, of course the wind was howling 30 miles an hour, but when Central had the ball with the wind at their backs, they showed the people what they really got in their offense, Ron.
Once that wind got behind their back in the second quarter, it was a different story. It was like somebody flipped the switch, and boom, the yards and the points started piling on. And Vincent Memorial could not recover from that second quarter blitz that the El Central Spartans did. And that's what they're looking for to have this today. They're going to continue. And just like Rookie Pena wants to do, he doesn't worry about the opponent. He wants to worry about the things he can control. What can he control? He can control his offense. He can control his play calling, manage the clock, score points. That's what you can control. You're not going to worry about your opponent. Hey, if they do this, they do that. No, I want to worry about what I can call and what my team can execute. So that's what we're looking for in the Central side of the ball.
And that's one thing about Coach Rookie Pena. He has never changed that philosophy
No.
since he came here 3 years ago. And while we got a minute, I'd like to mention the referees for tonight's game. At head referee, 25-plus year, we have Mr. John Seaman. In the middle alongside him is Mr. Alan Phillips. Add another 25 years of experience on there. And with the flank, we have Mr. Carrillo. And one of my favorite referees of all is Mr. Nate Beacons on the other flank side. Now, you talk about a veteran crew. That's what we have out here. Ron, we got less than a minute to go, and it looks like the Imperial Tigers won the toss. They will be kicking to the north side of the field. And one thing, Ron, that they cannot do, what happened last week,
Yes.
and that is, Ron, let that ball, let them get good yardage. Worst of all, let them run it back in the end zone.
Well, let me tell you something. What happened to the Tigers last week was on kickoff return. Kickoff return, they allowed a 90 opening play kickoff. They ran it back 95 yards. And then in the second quarter, third quarter, they had a fumble on kickoff return. So on 2 plays, the tide turned, and that Wildcats turned that into 14 points. This cannot happen to them tonight against a quality team like the Central Spartans.
And you start off with the speed with number 10 back there, Skyler Cook. He's one of those speed burners that if he does get the little crack in between the kickoff return, he will run it through there. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready for some kickoff here. You have your Imperial Tigers welcoming the Central Spartans. Here we go. Get ready for your kickoff, ladies and gentlemen. Hope we enjoy a great evening of high school football.
Ethan Gonzalez with the kick. Back to receivers, Artie. That's 8.
Fernando
Number 8.
Morales.
That's Fernando Morales. Morales got tied up at the 25, finds his way up to the 29, and we have a first flag of the first play, flag on the field.
Very interesting what might happen here because, Ron, I'm sure when they're in high school, once you either forcefully or you're self-intimidated, you put your knee on the guided right there deep inside the Spartan territory. We got 4 penalties to start the game.
The field.
Yeah, I think we've had about 6 plays, Ron, and we've already had 4
Offsides on the Spartans.
That's 4 straight penalties against the Central Spartans. Now, coaches right now, it's early in the game. I realize that, but that's not the way they wanted to start, Ron.
Looks like the ball will be set at the 6-yard line. A gift by the Spartans to the Tigers. Can they cash in on this? The ball's at the 6. They need to take advantage of this opportunity. They have trips to the right. Alvarado is your quarterback. As I said, Brennan Adams is a single back.
Looks like we're going to have a official's timeout in the field out there. Ron, what's today's date?
April 1st.
April 1st. That's what Victor Cruz mentioned to us when we were talking to him on the field. All right, as they reset the time clock here, John Seaman resets it. Let's get ready to play some football. First down, 1st and 5.
It's a bad snap. I don't know what happened there, but they may have given the ball right back to the Central Spartans. It just seemed like the center.
Okay.
I don't really can tell you what happened there.
Now, Ron, what we're going to have right now, illegal procedure against the
So there was a penalty prior to the snap.
Yeah, so what happened, Ron, in my opinion, what happened was everybody moved except the center. So when that happens, that automatically triggers the defensive line, and there was a whistle blowing out there which stopped it, So you got 6 penalties.
They were at the 6. Now they're back to the 11-yard line. 1st and 10 at the 11. The good thing for the Tigers, they could get a first down at the 1-yard line. And a timeout by David Shaw. So if you want rhythm in a football game, it's not happening right now.
No, Ron, I mean, both teams right now are shooting themselves in the foot. And while we got a little break in action, I'd like to announce some of our sponsors that have came on board since last week, and we're very much appreciated. We had a lot of support these last couple of weeks. We're happy to be here, and our goal is to bring you a quality football game, and we appreciate that. Especially from AG Product Resources, product from the ground prep through shipping, growing together with you. Bessie and Company, growing, packer, and shipper since 1923. They've been there since day one. The Dom Team, Real Estate Company Incorporated. The Dom Team for all your residential and commercial real estate needs. Also, Brownie's Diner and the original Town Pump. Brownie's Diner will be open from Tuesday to Sunday, 7:30 to 2 p.m. And on a good note, speaking of Brownie's, they have the Town Pump menu on there, but the Town Pump will be reopening soon. That's great to hear. All right, back to action.
First
Sorry,
and 10. There's a pitch to Adams on the right. It's a toss to Adams. He's looking for, and he cannot get around the edge for a 0 gain. And that's one thing about the Central Spartan defense. They're hard to run through the middle, and it's hard to get around them. They have a great perimeter and a great interior defense. So, second down, maybe a yard, maybe gained a yard. Looks like we'll get no gain on the play. Second down and 10. Ball's on the 10-yard line, actually 11-yard line. Trips to the left. Alvarado at quarterback. They give us to Adams up the middle. Adams is trying to weave his way, and there's nothing there. That door is shut. There's nothing opening. No gain on the play. Looks like they're going to give him a yard. Third down and 9 from the 9-yard line. Actually, the 10-yard line. 3rd and 10. 39 from the 10.
And while we get a little short break after this play, make sure you guys tomorrow, Jalen Fong will have tomorrow's article on today's game. You can also read it at vsnsports.net.
Trips to the left. He's looking to his right. He throws a fade in the corner, and that's intended for number 15, Christopher Tiernan, just in and out of his hands. Tiernan is a sophomore, future quarterback, as they say here in Imperial. Tiernan went up, great effort.
Number 34 on the coverage there, and he's at 5'10". So that was just good, decent coverage on there on a pass to try to make something happen in the end zone, Ron.
On the coverage was Eric Moreno, number 34. He's a senior. Plays a very good corner out there. We have a 4th down, and they're going for it, 4th and 9. Why not? Alvarado rolling to his left. Blocked by, he's looking, he's throwing, and it's intended for number 1. It's tipped up and down, and it may be. No, it's not. Incomplete. Incomplete. They were looking for Jesse Nichols. Jesse Nichols went up there. Nichols has been the go-to guy the past 2 weeks, and why not? The kid has hands. Incomplete pass. Turnover on downs. To me, I never had heard of Gavin Marini. Had a pretty good ball game last week. Just another weapon added to the Central Spartan wide receiver core. So now it'll be a 3rd down and
Villalobos, and that is going to put the Spartans in a punt formation with about 4 and about 8 yards to go, Ron.
Nathan Villalobos may have got burned on that last play by Esparza, but not this time. Set to kick is Charlie Sullivan. Sullivan will be standing at his 10-yard line. High snap. He gathers it. He punts.